Welcome, students, Sacred Heart University. Welcome back to Health Economics, MHA 621. Dr. D, want to thank you for all of the hard work that you've put in Module 1. Very thoughtful discussion board postings and interacting with your colleagues. I really appreciate the hard work and the rigor. Your grades are being posted even as we speak. However, don't hesitate, excuse me, to reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about your grades or about any component of this course. So we are in module 2 right now, and that will cover weeks 3 and 4. And in module 2, we're really going to look at the healthcare industry. We'll look at transactions, payments, and operations, also known as TPO. In week 3, we're going to specifically drill down on the third party payer system and relationships between payers, patients, and providers. And in week 4, we'll look at the effects of the third party relationship on the economic bottom line of hospitals and health systems. Before I actually do the overview, I want to stress the importance of not only this course, but this particular model. The revenue cycle and reimbursement model in healthcare is extremely complex. Those of you that are getting your MBA, MHA, excuse me, and you're on your way to and you're already there, perhaps leaders, executives, decision makers in the healthcare space, you need to have a really solid grasp of the third party payer system and understand that intimately. And it was actually in my master's program is where I really got a good hold of the information and a good comprehension. So that is your goal at the end of this module, at the end of this course, and certainly at the end of your degree program. You need to have mastered the dynamics of the third party payer system. It is, in essence, the core and the foundation of your MHA. So let's talk about week 3, the third party payer system and relationship between the payer, the patients, and the providers. And obviously, the third party payer system significantly impacts the healthcare system. It affects prices, such as decreasing prices or prices that consumers have to pay directly. It also involves the level of treatment and medical necessity that payers are willing to pay based on provider referrals or provider recommendations. For example, patients consume more resources when compared to third party payer systems. Providers would also supply more information or more services than they otherwise would. So when we introduce that third party payer system, it affects both the demand and the supply side of healthcare, leading to insurance premiums, administrative cost, and all of those other cost and fees that are associated with delivering health services here in the United States. And of course, we'll have plenty of opportunities to dive into those dynamics, right? We're really just, this module is just introducing us to the third party payer system. For those of you that have already participated in the healthcare uh, system here in the United States, particularly from a patient perspective, you understand it very well. You may not understand the dynamics or the economics behind it, the finance behind it, the strategy behind it, which we'll do in this course, but you do understand the fact that the relationship between the patient and the provider uh, is not a pure relationship because there's a third party there that can say to the provider, well, I know you recommended this surgery for the patient, but it's not a medical necessity, so we're going to deny it. Or from the patient's perspective, the patient may want a particular treatment or a particular regimen. Maybe even the provider agrees, but the executives at the insurance company will say, no, you have to do treatment A and B before we can even consider treatment C. So that's the third party payer system. Whereas normal transactions in our economy, it's just a two-way transaction. So when you go to the marketplace, you want to buy your goods and services, the the meeting of the minds, if you will, that contractual meeting of the minds is between the seller and the buyer. So there's no third party there that says, no, you can't buy 12 oranges at 2.99 a bag. You have to pay 3.99 a bag. Or there's no one there that tells the seller, you cannot sell apples three for $1. You must sell apples two for $1. So that's the difference there. In the healthcare space, there is a third party that, in most cases, exercises more influence in the relationship than the payer, or excuse me, than the provider and the patient. So moving right along here to week three, some of the objectives, you're going to identify strategies for evaluating and managing risk. You'll look to define economic concepts and principles that are related to cost and managing cost. Through that, you'll explain how cost is connected to access and usage. You'll comprehend the role of third parties within the healthcare system. You'll also analyze the economic impact of third party payers on both health systems and hospitals. You'll evaluate the effects of third party payers on healthcare costs while examining the relationship between third party payers and healthcare quality. And finally, identify strategies for managing the economic impact of third party payers on hospitals and health systems. Well, my goodness, if that wasn't enough, there are some assignments here, including a discussion board assignment where you actually look at the economic impact of third party payers. And I look forward to what I know will be a thoughtful and robust exchange of ideas there in week three. And then in week four, remember each module has 2 weeks. So in module two, we have weeks 3 and week 4. So in week four, you're going to look at the effects of the third party payer on the economic bottom line of hospitals. And objectives for week four will include comprehending the role of third party payers in the healthcare industry. You'll analyze economic impacts of third party payers on hospitals and health systems. You'll continue to evaluate the effects of third parties on the bottom line cost of healthcare. You'll examine the relationship between healthcare quality and third party payers, identify strategies for managing the economic impact of third party payers on health systems and hospitals. And then finally, through the assignment, you will apply the economic concepts of demand to the healthcare product and consider how insurance and professional advice will affect demand. So there's a knowledge check in week four. There is a discussion board posting in week four, and there is an assignment in week four, which is that annotated bibliography. And why don't we go ahead and just take a look at the annotated bibliography? I'm not sharing my screen right now, but you can feel free to pull up your LMS. And I am on the week 4 assignment, Healthcare Economics, Annotated Bibliography. And the whole thing with bibliographies, they certainly are very rigorous and robust assignments, but they're really geared to uh, have you identify quality resources, credible and scholarly resources that you can then use not only for the assignment, but for the rest of the course. You've got some pretty intense assignments coming up, particularly the signature assignment in Module 4. And so, if you've done a really good job on this annotated bibliography, you shouldn't have to go outside of that for any other sources, at least ideally, any other sources that you'll need for the rest of uh, the assignments here in this course. Not only that, the information in your annotated bibliography will really be the foundation of your tacit knowledge going forward as it relates to healthcare economics, and then just really understanding economics in general. And I think you'll find there that and I think you're already finding there that really the foundation of your decision making, both professionally and personally, is significantly influenced by economics. So let's get to this annotated bibliography, which is a source that includes a summary and analysis of the content, including a critique of published literature on the topic of your choice, summarizing the critical articles and identifying areas for future research. You will bring this topic and reference forward by integrating them into your week 8 signature assignment. So let's just make sure here that your topic for your annotated bibliography will continue on throughout the course and also be the topic for your signature assignment in week 8. So choose your topic carefully. There's a list of topics there. However, if you have a topic that resonates with you, feel free to send me an email and I'll be more than happy to approve it. And before we do a deeper dive into the topics here, I just want to reiterate that on the annotated bibliography, I'm not looking for a review. So this isn't a book review, if you will. It isn't an abstract, it is an actual critique or analysis. Now, that critique and analysis may include some summary information, but I'm not looking for a summary as in the form of a book review, book report, if you will, or in the form of an abstract. I'm looking for you to roll your sleeves up and engage with some critical thinking and some annotations and critique of the literature. So you're going to create an annotated bibliography for the topic uh, that is included in healthcare economics. That same topic that you pick, you'll continue with that topic all the way through the end of the course and through the signature assignment. Here's some topics for you, including outcomes, patient outcomes, the Internet of Medical Things, medical devices, exercise intervention, implementation of bench research, and I hope many of you picked that one perhaps. Eating healthy, dieting/lifestyle, artificial intelligence and machine learning integration, program analysis or evaluation, new drug development. That is by no means a comprehensive list. So, if you've got a topic that resonates with you and you're prepared to do some original research on the topic, feel free to email me and I'll be more than happy to uh, Approve that. Just a couple things on this topic. We do have an assignment that includes AI and well, really AI. And so for those of you that, would like to know more about AI, but perhaps you don't feel comfortable in an annotated bibliography, we do have an assignment in Module 3 that integrates AI into your economic analysis. And then the only other thing I want to talk about there is that bench research there. Research articles are being published thousands per day, but the research and the information isn't reaching the point of care. It isn't reaching the point of service. We still have medical providers that are prescribing medicines or promoting interventions that have been discredited and debunked for, if not a decade, certainly half of a decade or more, but certainly even longer than that. And so your training as an MHA, and for those of you that go on and get either your PhD or your professional doctorate degree, your job, our jobs, our mission is to bring that research out of academia and bring it to the clinics, the health systems, the hospitals, the ambulatory systems, bring that research to the point of service. And that is the best way, of course, to affect those patient outcomes. So the instructions for the annotated bibliography in your own words, and that's a biggie there, because again, there's certainly plenty of artificial intelligence and other applications that you can use that will assist you in preparing any academic assignment. But I want to stress that uh, words themselves, or um, the significant portion of your annotated bibliography must be in your own words. So I'm not looking for artificially generated content. I'm not looking for a whole bunch of direct quotes there. You really need to be paraphrasing and critiquing there. So, in your own words, prepare an overview and synopsis using a minimum of 150 to 200 words that provides essential information for each citation. Resources for creating an annotated bibliography. I've embedded some information from Cornell University, the online writing lab at Purdue, and resources directly from Sacred Heart University. However, that is by no means a comprehensive list. The list that you use, or the sources that you use, really need to come from academic and credible sources. So make sure you're staying away from the .orgs and the .coms. The citation in your annotations must be published after the year 2018. Now, there may be some exceptions to that, particularly if your topic lends to that. If there's a seminal work that's published before 2018 and you have justification to include that in your annotated bibliography, feel free to do that. But I don't want random annotations from sources that are older than 2018 that aren't seminal or aren't related. If you've got some good information that was published before 2018, do some research and find someone that continues on with that research after 2018. You're going to provide a minimum of 6 citations. This will include books, articles, or documents from credible sources and from scholarly sources. So, when I say scholarly sources, we're really talking about academic textbooks, articles from peer-reviewed journals, information from .gov, .gov, and information from education websites .edu. Those are gold standard, uh, beyond reproach scholarly sources. However, there are credible sources. So, credible sources include information from industry sources, such as white papers, information from, let's say, professional development organizations like HIMSS or AHEMA. Perhaps it is information directly from the manufacturer of a medical device or a designer or creator of a software application. Those are considered credible. They don't reach the level of scholarly because they aren't peer reviewed, but they're coming directly from the sources, which make them credible. Anything other than that will be questionable. So the expectation is that you will not have information in there from .coms and .orgs, blogs, and all of these other random sources. All citations must be formatted in APA version 7 and contain sufficient academic rigor, critical appraisal of the topic. Go ahead and put a cover page on there. Your sources should be listed in alphabetical order based on APA version 7 guidelines. You don't really need a reference page because the nature of the annotated bibliography, your references are already right there. But your references do need to be formatted in APA. And look at the examples there that I've embedded that will help you. But basically, your annotations start with a APA citation of the reference itself, and then under the reference, you've got about 150 to 200 words to provide your critical appraisal of that topic, critical critique of that topic. And again, your corresponding appraisal should follow each individual citation. That's not a recap or a review, but it is an appraisal. It is a critique that may include summary information, but by no means is a review report or summary. Your admission should include a survey of all relevant literature on the topic of your interest. You should pay attention to the methods of collecting and analyzing the data. Look for ethical research practices as well. And this really is an opportunity for you to practice synthesizing the author's words. So do not use quote, but instead put the author's ideas into your own words. You can take as many pages as you need for each source. And again, there's a little note here at the bottom. Make sure you distinguish an annotated bibliography from an abstract, summary, or book review. They are vastly different. Abstract summaries and book reviews are unacceptable submissions for this assignment. And the assignment is due on Sunday at the end of week 4 at 11:55 p.m. Okay, I think that's about enough. Please reach out to me with any questions, comments, or concerns. I want to again thank you for all the hard work in Module 1. I want to thank you in advance for the hard work that you will do in Module 2. I look forward to reading your discussion board postings, and I look forward to reading and grading your annotated bibliography at the end of Module 2. Bye bye for now.